No questions over. I think it is clear.
Suman or Ramesh, I think like one of you guys are about to ask
So
something.
like instead of doing, we can also do with the private dot find element by linked list as well or expert.
Yeah, you can use like link text also. I just use
Okay,
like text equals to, but you can use link text also. Just you can
I get it now. That's fine.
you can write it like in multiple ways, right? This one,
Okay,
so you can
okay.
use like in link text also. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so this is about navigation budget. And now coming to the car rental pages. So this is about we have to go through like each and every page and make sure that that page is appearing. So basically what we're doing this one is we'll on the home page we will verify like this element, find the best car for you. Okay, similarly on the about, and then we'll go to this about us page and we'll verify this one about us, and then we'll go to car listings page and we will verify this one, car listings appears. Go to facts page and verify facts appears. Go to contractors page and verify contractors appears. Okay, that's what like the script is about. We have to make sure that all the pages are appearing. Okay, so in this one what I did was, okay, so again until this point, okay, it is the same one as previous one. Okay, now the first thing is I'm clicking on the home link. Of course, you don't need to do this one clicking on the home link, because whenever first you open the site, anyhow you will be on the home page. Okay, but that should be fine. I'm just driver find element by dot xpath. Okay, a slash slash a text home is equal to text is equal to home dot click. We are going into the home page, and then what we are doing is we are finding out this element. Okay, so if you see this one, okay, just if you inspect this one, okay, so this is under h2 tag. Under h2 tag you will see that find the best is there, and then again you have a span tag where you have car for you. Okay, so the way that I have written this this one is slash slash h2 contains text find the best. Okay, so h2 containing the text find the best. Okay, and then I am using a parent child relationship under h2. So slash span contains text car for you. Okay, so this is the XPath like I have created. Okay, if I copy this one, okay, just okay, so it is identifying. First it will identify find the best. Let me remove this okay, so it will identify h2 tag by using find the best, and I am also using forward slash span contains text one, so it will identify this whole element first and then it will identify. So I'm using this one. Okay, okay, so
Today,
yeah.
when we are on the home page, so why do we use dot click here?
I'm sorry, when we are on the home page,
Why to use the dot click? Already we are in the home page, right?
yeah, we don't need to use this one. Okay, so it's not needed actually. See, this is not needed. Okay, when we are on, when we open the home page itself, it displays the home page. Okay, we don't need
Yes,
to
yes.
use this one. It's not needed. Okay, so on the home page, I'm just making sure that the text is there. Again, I'm using is displayed property here. Home page is verified successfully. Okay, once this is done, then I am going into okay this about us page. Okay, in the about us link, I'm clicking this one. Okay, once I go into this about us link, okay, we have something about us. You can verify this one or this one, anything. Okay, I'm verifying this one. Okay, if you go here, okay, this is in an h2 tag. But if you see here about us, after about us there is a space here. Okay, so I have used h2 normalize hyphen space. Okay, we have seen this one, normalize hyphen space, and without using space I'm using this one. If you don't want to use this normalized space, you can see text equals to about us space you can give here. Okay, just like this one. Okay, let me just show you this one. So if you want to, okay, slash slash h2 with the tag, okay, text equals to Okay, you can include this space as well in this one if you want to use directly text is equal to about us. But if you don't want to use like the extra spaces, okay, this won't work. So what should we do? We have to use normalize hyphen space. We have seen this one during XPaths. Normalize hyphen space. Okay, so normalize hyphen space text is equal to about us. So that's the same thing I have used. And if it is displayed, about us page is verified successfully. So like this, and then we are going into car listing, and then we are verifying car listing text is displayed, and then we are going into facts page, and then we are verifying facts page is displayed successfully, and then we are going into contact us page, and then we are verifying contact us is displayed successfully. Okay, so this is how we are verifying all these pages. Now if I run this one, run Java application, okay, it is going into each and every page. Okay, and finally home page verified successful, about us page, contact listing, car listing, facts, and contact us page verified successfully. So all these pages are verified successfully. Okay, now the third script is, okay, we have to go into this once we open the page. Okay, then we will we have to click on this login or register. Okay, and then we have to click on sign up here. Okay, once we successfully sign up for this one, it will show you an alert message. We have to read that message. Okay, that like it is registered successfully. Okay, this is the one. Okay, so for this one, okay, this is the register.java. Okay, so in this one again, these first few steps are common where we are opening the website. Okay, and then we are uh, uh, clicking on this login or register. I have written the XPath for this one, login or register, and we are clicking on this one. Once we click on this one, then we have to click on this sign up here. Okay, so for this one, again, I'm using the XPath, the text is equal to sign up here, and then I am clicking on this one, sign up here. Okay, once we click on this sign up, okay, then I'm using I'm identifying all these elements like full name, mobile number, and all these things. Full name, okay, mobile number, email ID. Okay, so password, when it comes to password, okay, we again, like I'm identifying the password by using its name property. So if you inspect this one, okay, you will see that there is a name for this password. Okay, which is password. So I'm identifying that one using that password. But again, if you see, there are like two results here, one of two, and the first result is not highlighting this one. It is the second result that is identifying. So I'm using indexing here, which is indexing 2. Okay, similarly, confirm password also we have 2, out of which first one is highlighting that one. So I have used indexing 1, and then I am clicking on this sign up button. Once we click on that sign up button, it will show an alert. Okay, and I am reading that alert message, which is driver.switch2.alert.get text. Okay, and I'm printing that message. Okay, let me dismiss that alert also. Okay, driver dot switch to dot alert dot dismiss. Okay, and then let us thread dot sleep. Let us wait for 2 seconds before closing this one. Okay, let me add this throws declaration. Okay, so let me run this one. Run as Java application. Okay, but this will fail at this moment. Let me change this mail ID to 556. Okay, let me run this one again. Run as Java application. Okay, so it opened that one, and it is reading that alert message, but it was very fast. So let me use the thread.sleep. Okay, before dismissing this alert also. Okay, let me change this mail ID again. So 557. Okay, so let me run this one more time. Run as Java application. Okay, so it opened that one. Okay, so here it opened this one, but it didn't click this one because by the time the script tried to click it, it didn't appear. Okay, that is why it failed here. So we have to use again our explicit wait synchronization here. So which I have done it here, but let me copy this one. Okay, let me copy this one too. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm clicking on login and login and register button, and then I'm using explicit wait here. Okay, WebDriver wait is equal to new WebDriver comma 10, and then wait dot until expected conditions dot. I'm using visibility of this sign up here element. Okay, so wait until this sign up here is visible, and then click on this sign up here. Okay, this is what I have done here. I have just used some explicit wait here for synchronization. So what are the different the two synchronization methods that we have? Anyone? What are the two synchronization ways that we have?
Explicit method and implicit.
Yeah, implicit wait and explicit wait. Okay, so here we are using explicit wait because we want to wait for the element sign up here. Okay, otherwise sometimes it may fail. Okay, now let me run this one again. Okay, run as Java application. Okay, now it open this one, and okay, so again full name it is not entering this one because by the time the sign up is clicked, by the time the full name appears, okay, it is trying to enter this value. Okay, enter this value. So let us write an explicit way for this full name also. Okay, let me take this same thing. Okay, so wait for the visibility of this full name element as well. Okay, wait for the visibility of this full name element as well. Okay, let me run this one more time. Run as Java application. Okay, see, now registration successful. Now it dismissed that one and it closed this one finally. Okay, so this is about registering a new user. Okay, and we use these scripts to how we can develop the page object model. But before that, again, if you run this same register script again, it will fail because we have already used this email ID 557. Okay, now let me run it one more time. Run as Java application. You see, this email ID already exists. That's why it is not able to sign up. Okay, and if you see here, it will throw an error. What is the error? Okay, it entered even though this email ID didn't exist, it entered this password and confirm password and it clicked on sign up, but didn't appear. The alert message won't appear here because the email ID already exists here. That's why if you see here, you'll see an exception saying that no alert present exception, because we are trying to check for an alert here. We're trying to switch to an alert, but that alert didn't appear. That's why you are seeing no alert present exception, no such alert. Okay, so how do we fix this one? How do we fix this one? So each time when we run the script, we have to give some new email ID. Okay, so we have to generate this email ID randomly. Okay, so that is where we use random class from Java. Okay, let me explain you the random class. Okay, so if we go into this, okay, Selenium, okay, Java, okay, Java random class. Okay, using this random class, we can randomly generate different things. Okay, let me show you. Okay, so random class, this class is used to generate random numbers, random text or anything in Java. Okay, so next int method. Okay, what does it this next okay, in this class random class we have different methods like next int of int bound, next long, next float, like this. Okay, so let us see like all these methods one by one. Okay, so that we can finish this chapter. Let me go and let me have a new uh, package. Okay, I'm just saying random pack. Okay, so under this one I'm just creating a class. Okay, just say example class. Okay, example class. Okay, now for using this random class, first we have to create an object for that random class. Okay, random is the class. Okay, and I'm creating an object random. Okay, with small r is equal to new random. Okay, so this is how we can create an object for this one. Let us import this random class. Okay, now we have imported this one. Okay, so the method that we can use to generate any number between these two numbers is next int method. Okay, so I'll say system.out.println. Okay, random dot next int. Okay, next int. Okay, let me run this one and see what it prints. Run as. Okay, so this is so every time you run, okay, it will generate a different number. See, this is the number now. If I run it again, okay, it will generate another number like this. Okay, suppose you want to generate a number within some specific thing, like let's say below 1000 I would like to generate this one. Okay, in that case you can use next int of int bound. You can give the value here. So for example, I would like to generate a number below 1000, so I can give next int of 1000 here. Okay, so if I run this one now, it will generate a random number between 0 and 999. Okay, it won't include this 1000 here. Okay, it will generate a number below 1000. So up to 999 it will generate a number from 0 to 999. Okay, so 30 is generated now, and if I run it again, okay, it is generated 157. So like this you can run this one. Okay, and each time it will generate a number below 1000. Okay, this is another method. Okay, similarly we have next long method we have. Okay, next float method, next double, and next boolean. Okay, you can use all these methods. Okay, these are the main methods, okay, that we have, that we use for generating a random number. Okay, you can try these methods: next long, next float, next double, next boolean. Okay, let me show you this one. Okay, so this is the one I have generated. Let me just copy this one, copy this program. Okay, and let me put it here. Okay, now let me just run this one. Okay, so random integer up to 100. Okay, this is, so I have used next int of 100, next long, next float, next double. Okay, next boolean. Okay, so these are all the methods that you can use. Okay, any questions on this one until this point about the random class?
No, sir.
Okay, now we have seen this method random dot next int of 100. We have seen this one, right? But let us say, okay, this will generate basically a number. This will generate basically a number below the value that we provide here, right? But I want to generate a number between two specific numbers, like let us say I would like to generate a number between 100 and 200. 100 and 200, I would like to generate a number. You understand? Okay, so how can we do this one? Let me copy this one, copy the same thing. Okay, I'm just saying example 2. Okay, let me open this one. Okay, so Okay, instead of writing this one directly here, let me create a separate method for generating a number. Okay, public int generate, okay, number. Okay, and what I will do is I will pass two parameters. One is the starting number and one is the ending number. So I will say int start, int end. Okay, so if I pass 100, 200, 100 as the start number and the ending is 200, then it has to generate a number between 100 and 200 and it has to return that method. Okay, so how do we do that one? Okay, let me take out all these things. Okay, for the time being, since it is returning an integer, let me add a return statement. Currently it returns some return null, not null, yeah, return some number. Let's say it returns 0 at this moment. Okay, so that the error will go away. Okay, we'll update this 0 later. Okay, okay, now I have this one. So in the main method, I want to call this generate number by passing some starting number. And how do I call this method from this main method? How can I call this one? Anyone? How can I call this method from the main method? Yeah, anyone?
By generating object of the class.
We have to create an object of this class. Okay, so example 2 ex is equal to new example. We have created an object of this class. Now using this object, okay, we can call this method generate number, and I am passing 100 as the starting number and 200 as the ending number. Okay, now this method has to generate a number between 100 and 200. So first let me create an object for the random class. Random is equal to new random. I have created an object for this one. Okay, now if I use this ending number, okay, what happens here? Okay, 100 and 200 I am passing. Okay, now let us say I'm giving okay, int, okay, generated, okay, number equals to, okay, random dot next int of, let us say I use end here. Okay, but what happens here? Okay, let me say now I'm returning this generated number. Okay, what happens here? So the end is 200 here, right? So let's say, let me capture the return value. Okay, int number equals to the system.out.println number. I am printing this. Okay, so now what happens if I use this one n? It will generate a number below 200, right? Because this n number is 200. Okay, it will generate a number below 200, but it may generate a number below 100 also, but all we need is in between 100 and 200. Let me run this one just and show you this one. Okay, run as Java application. Okay, 127, which is fine. Let me run it one more time. Okay, see, now it generated 44, but we needed some number between 100 and 200. So how to generate this one? So in those case, okay, just there is a small logic. The logic is generate a number between below 100. Generate a number below 100 and add this number to that one. Add this starting number to that one. You understand the logic here? So we try generating a number below 100. So let's say it is generated 50. Okay, then we add the starting number to this 50, which becomes 150. Okay, so now I will say start. This is the start number, but again I will say start plus start number. Next printf. So this one will generate a number below 100, below the first number always. Okay, and then we are adding this first number to the generated number so that it will always generate a value between 100 and 200. So if I run this one now, okay, run as Java application, okay, 142. So now it always generates a value between 100 and 200. Okay, did you guys like understand this logic, how we generate a number between two numbers? Simple logic, okay, that we are using here. Okay, this is how we can generate a number between two numbers. Okay, now generate a random string with 10 characters. Okay, we want to generate a random string with 10 characters. Okay, let us see how to do that one. Okay, so this is example 3. Okay, so now I want to generate a random string. So I'll modify this method to generate a random string. So it will return a string. Okay, generate string using this method. And for the time being, let me take out this one. Okay, and for the time being, I'm just returning null. Okay, and then I'm just saying that instead of, I'll say string a random str, okay, is equal to, I'll say I'll call this method which is generate string, and I am printing this string. Okay, so I have created a new method which is generate string. So I'm calling this method by creating an object, and I'm storing the generated random string into this random str, and I'm printing that one. So now within this method, we have to create a way, we have to write the method to generate a random string. So for generating the random string, what we have to do, first I will define one string, okay, which is string string letters equals to, okay, so within this one I will use all small letters like say A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. Okay, so this is I have created a string with all small letters. Okay, so I'm strong. Now I have to get a letter randomly from the string, okay, and I can create a random string. So how to get a letter randomly from this string? Okay, so here I'll say string random string equals to, initially I'm saying this is not null, but some empty string I'm creating, okay, and then I will return this random string. Okay, so first what we have to do, okay, so the first thing, we have to get random letters from this one. How do we get the random letters from a string? We have to get random characters from this one. Random characters from this one. How do we get the random characters? First we have to get a random index method. Okay, for example, in a string, you have the method, for example, I'm using system.out.println letters dot caret method is there. Okay, caret, if I use fourth, index 4, then it will give me this E. Okay, because E is at index 4, right? Because index starts from 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, if I run this one, it will give me the character at 4, which is E. Okay, similarly, if I want the character at 0, which is A, okay, I use char at of, okay, A. Okay, so we have to get a random index for this one. Okay, how do we get a random index? Okay, how do we get a random index? We can find the length of this one. Okay, we can find the length of this one. How do we find the length of the, first we have to find the length of that one. Okay, so we can say letters in strings, we have the length method. Okay, letters dot length, which gives me the length of this one. And now I will use a random class here. Random is equal to new random. Okay, and then I will say, why it is showing oh, okay, we have already created this object here, so we don't need to create it one more time. Okay, so what I will do, I will directly take this example, which is random dot next int. Okay, random dot next int. Okay, so here I will say random dot next int of this letters dot length. Okay, what it will do? This will generate a random index. Okay, by taking this random dot letters dot length. Okay, what is this letters dot length? It is 26 or 27. The number of letters like in our alphabets are like 26, right? So it will letters dot length will give 26, right? So it will generate a random index, random integer between 0 and 26. That means up to 25, it will generate the index, right? So I'm generating a random index here. Okay, so now I will take this random index. Okay, I will take this random index. I'll say letters dot char at. Okay, I'll put it here. Okay, so now every time, okay, first it gets the letters dot length, which is 26. Okay, so random dot next int of 26 will give me a random number between 0 and 26. So I will get the index, okay, somewhere between 0 and 26, okay, randomly. So I will get a character at that place. Letters dot char at will give me that character. Okay, let me run this one, okay, and show you this one. Okay, let me run this one, run as Java application. See, the first time it gave me X. Okay, now the second time it gave me R, third time it gave me A, next time it gave me like some H. Do you understand this one? See, I'm using letters dot length,
Yes, sir.
which gives me the length of the string, okay, which is 26. Now I'm using random dot next int of 26. That means it gives me always a number below 26. Okay, so which is nothing but the index. Now I'm using this char at method. Okay, and I'm getting the character at that particular index. Okay, that's why I'm able to get all. Okay, now what I have to do, I have to generate a random string of 10 letters. So what I will do, I will use a for loop here. Okay, for int I equals to 0, I is less than 10, I plus plus. I'm using this one. Okay, and I'm taking this. So this one will be giving each time a random letter for me. So I'm taking this one, I'm putting it here. Okay, so and I'll get a letter here. So let me comment this one. Okay, I don't need this. Okay, so I'm putting it here and I'm putting system.out. System.out.println. So what I'm doing here, I'm printing the 10 letters here. Okay, run as Java application. I'm printing the letters 10 times. Okay, so it is giving me like 10 different letters here. Okay, so now what I will do, since I have to create a string, let me put it above this one. Okay, what I will do, okay, instead of printing this one, I'll say random string plus equals to. That means each time I get the character and I will attach this one to random string. Initially it is blank. The first time it will get some character. Okay, and then it prints that one. The second time it gets the character and then it prints that one. Okay, and finally once I get that random string and I am returning that random string here. Okay, and I am printing that random string. Okay, so now let us run this one, run a Java application. See, it has printed me a random string with 10 characters. If I run this one again, each time it will change that one. Okay, so now we are generating a random string. Okay, but now my random string should be a random email address because I have to change this email address each time, right? So in the register functionality, okay, since we are if we since we have to change this email each time, okay, we have to create a random email. So for that one, what I will do is, finally, once this random string is generated, I will say return okay, random so let me change this one to random email. Okay, instead of like generate string, I will say generate email. Okay, generate email. Okay, generate. That means we are generating a random email. So once this is done, what I will say random. Okay, instead of this random string, what I will say is, I will say this is random email. And returning random email. Okay, random email is equal to this one. And finally, okay, once this 10 characters, this one is generated, then I will say random email is equal to random email. Okay, plus finally I am adding @gmail.com to that random string that we are generating here. Okay, finally, once this 10 characters are generated, then I am saying, okay, I am adding @gmail. So if I run this one now, run as Java application, it will print me something, some 10 letters at gmail.com. Okay, every time, okay, if I run this one, it will generate a new email ID. Okay, so so what I will do in this one, okay, I will call this function directly from here. So from this example 3. Okay, so instead of doing this one, like what I have done is, I have created a separate utils package here, and under the utils package, I have written this function called common functions. Okay, so if you see here, I have created something like a get username here, get username, and this is the same logic I have used. I have used like some small letters here, and I have created a random object, and random username is equal to some blank initially, and then I am using small letters dot length, and then I'm getting the random index, and I'm getting a character, and I'm adding it 10 times to this random username, and finally I'm attaching @gmail.com. Okay, so I have created a separate package, and I have created a separate class called common functions. Okay, under these common functions, I have written this get username so that I can call this get username each time. Okay, now let me call this function in this which one it is in this register, right? So let me, I have created a functionality already here, but let me show you this one here. So in this register.java, let me copy this register.java to register2.java. Okay, so in this one, so each time we have to change this one. So what I will do is, I'll call this common functions here. So first I have to create an object for this common function. So common, okay, common functions cf equals to new common functions. Okay, I have created an object for this one. Okay, and I have to import that common functions. So I have imported this common functions. Okay, now I will call this method. Okay, I'll say string username. Okay, username is equal to cf dot generate get username. Okay, it will give me a random email address. Now I'm just printing this one, system.out.println username. Okay, now I will use this username in the place of, okay, send keys. Okay, so I'll use username. Okay, so every time I'll get a random email ID, so the script won't fail now. Okay, let me run this one, run as JavaScript, Java application. Okay, so registration is successful. Okay, see, and the email ID that is used is this one. Okay, Now if I run it one more time, run as Java application, it will still be succeeded because each time we are generating a new random email ID. Okay, so registration is successful. Okay, so this is a new email ID. So this is how we can use random class here. So any questions here, guys? Did you guys understand like how we are generating a random email ID? Everyone?
Yeah, it is clear.
Okay.
So, like for using this, this is the page object model you are talking
No, no,
about.
no.
We have to create.
We haven't started page object model yet. I'm just covering only the random class at this moment. Okay, to give you an idea how you can use this random class to generate random email IDs, random passwords, random numbers, and all those things. Okay, we will go into the page object model. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, this is just only we are generating some random email. Okay, now let us say like even for the password also, you have to generate like here also every time we are using a constant password. Instead of using this one, let's say you have to generate a random password. Okay, a random password. So random password also I have written a functionality here. So if you see here, okay, so it will, there is another function where I have written the get password method. Okay, here what we are doing is like we are generating a password using small letters, capital letters, and numbers. Okay, so how do we do this one? How do we do this one? Basically, I'm creating a normal string which is random password. So first I'm using a loop, okay, for 5 times, and I'm adding 5 random characters here, 5 random characters from the small letters. Okay, again the same thing, small letters dot length, and then random dot next int of small letters dot length, and then small letters dot caret. Okay, I'm adding 5 and then again I am using another for loop, and I am adding another 5 capital letters here from this one, and then again I am using like I'm looping it for 3 times, and I'm getting 3 random numbers from this number string, and I am adding it, and finally I'm returning this one. Okay, so let me show you this one, how it generates a random password. Okay, so yeah, in this one, like in the main function I have created an object for this common functions, and then I am printing cf dot get random password. Okay, let me run this one and see like what random passwords it prints. Okay, so this is the one, SUYBH, and then 5 capital letters, and then 3 numbers. This is how like I'm generating sometimes your password requirement is like you need to have a special character in your password. Okay, what we will do, we'll again create like another string saying that like okay, string special characters, special chars, okay, is equal to, I'll say dollar hash at the rate and star. Let's say these are my special characters that I can use. Okay, so again what I will do is I'll simply write like a for int I is equal to 0, I is less than 3. So I will add a special character also. Instead of numbers, I'll say special chars at length. Okay, now if I run this one, it will include me like the special characters also in this one. See, dollar star. So I'm adding like 3 special characters at the end. Okay, this is how you can generate a random password also, and you can use it like in your scripts. Okay, for example, in this register new scripts I have written that one. So I'm calling this, I'm getting this random username, and also I'm getting this random password as well, and I'm using that random password, I'm storing it in password string, and I'm using it in password field, and also confirm password field here. Okay, so this is how you can use a random class, okay, random string with the 10 characters, okay, generating random usernames. Okay, so all these yeah, so this is how you can use a random class for generating random passwords or random strings, random email addresses, anything. Okay, so do you guys understand about this random class?
Yes, Subbu.
Okay, just practice this one because this is from my real-time projects where I had to generate random passwords and random accounts each time. Okay, so we have used this method to generate the random accounts each time, random class and generating some strings. Okay, practice this one. Okay, now let me remove. Yeah, now let me remove this register too. Okay, so we have now we have created three scripts basically. Okay, one is our rental pages, navigation bar, and also registering a new user. Okay, so this register and register new is nothing but in the register new I have used these random emails and random password functionality. Okay, that is the difference. So basically we have three scripts here. One is navigation bar and checking the car rental pages and also registering a new user. So let me go into this navigation bar. So now if you see we are using a colon text is equal to home. Okay, we are using this is how we are identifying all these elements. Okay,
Subbu,
similarly
one question I'm having.
yeah,
Like every time we are using the random class, then what is the chance that it will not get the same random thing?
well, it may generate in those cases it will fail, but it is very
Yeah.
rare. It is very rare. For example, the 10 letter email that you are creating, okay,
Mm-hmm.
very rarely it may create an email ID which already exists in the in the database. In those cases, it may fail. Okay, but it's
So
very
how to
very
handle that?
very rare actually. Okay, if you want to handle that one, just try it, Ankur. Okay, if you want to handle that one, what you have to do, you have to enter that email ID, email address here. Okay, and see if you are getting this error, email ID, email address already exists. Then again you have to call that function to generate a new
Okay, so we
email
have to
ID.
use if else condition that if there error comes, then again you just go for that
Yes, exactly.
program execution. Yeah, I got it.
Okay, so that is how we can handle that one. Okay, now okay, so now let's get into this. Okay, so yeah, so if you see here in the navigation bar, we are identifying. Let's talk about this element particularly. Okay, a text is equal to home. Okay, we are identifying this element. Okay, and also in the car rental pages. Okay, we are using this a text is equal to home. Let's say we are using. Of course, we are not. Okay, let's say we are using this home link, or let us say in the navigation bar we have this about us link we about us element we are finding out using driver.find element by dot xbar. Similarly in the car rental pages also we are finding out about us element. Okay, so we are using these elements multiple times. For example, in future if the developer changes the text of this one from about us to some about me. Okay, so the script will fail and also the script will fail. Okay, here we only have two scripts which are using that element, so these two will fail. But in the real time you might be having a lot of scripts, okay, where all those scripts will fail. So you have to come here and modify everything from about us to about me. All the script you have to go into this script and you have to go into this script. So all the script where that element is identified, you have to go into all the scripts and you have to update that one. Okay, that will be very time consuming each time, and each time you cannot do this one because it's not just one element. The element the developer may change some other elements also. You have to identify all those elements in all your scripts, and you have to write a separate I mean you have to update all those scripts for all those elements, which is very difficult. So that's why we go for page object model. So in a page object model, what we will do is we will create a separate class for identifying the elements on each of these pages. Okay, so I will create since this navigation bar is constant for all these pages, I will create a separate class for this navigation bar. Okay, and identify all the elements in that class. Similarly, for home page, I will create a separate class. For about us page, I will create a separate class. Like that, I will create different classes for different pages. Okay, let me show you that one. Okay, let me copy this entire package. Let me close all these things. Close all. Okay, let me copy this entire package and paste it. Okay, car rental package new, I'm saying. Okay, so this is my new package that I have created. Okay, under this new package, like I have car rental pages and all these things. Let me just run this one time to make sure that this is running fine. Okay, so this is good. Okay, so now let us create an object page object model. So in the page object model, as I mentioned, like we'll create a separate class like for each of these pages. Okay, so let me create a new package here, which is I'm saying, okay, car rental package new pages. I'm saying, okay, this is my new one. Finish. Okay, so I have my pages class here. Okay, now let us create a new class for navigation bar. Okay, so I'm creating a new class and I'm saying here navigation bar page. Okay, of course navigation bar is not a separate page. Okay, but since navigation bar is constant for all the pages here, I'm creating a separate class for identifying these elements. Okay, now in this one, in the navigation bar, okay, in the navigation bar, like I have all these things, right? So I will move all these locator techniques. Okay, locator techniques for finding the element into this one. First, okay, let's say a colon text is equal to home. Okay, in this one, I'll create a separate method here. Okay, so I'll say public. Okay, what is it written? It written a web element, public web element. Okay, I'll say home link. That means it returns me that link. Okay, and I'm saying, okay, I'll say web element equals to this one and return element. Okay, I have to import web element here, import web element. Okay, and then okay, so what I'm doing here, I have created a separate class here and I'm creating a method here to return this home link, and here I'm finding out that element. Okay, and I'm returning that one. Okay, again it will be like 2. Okay, but here what we need this driver object. We don't have the driver object in this one, right? So what we can do, we can pass this driver object to this method. So I'll say web driver. Okay, I am passing this one here. Okay, so import web driver. Okay, you understand this one? Okay, so I'm finding this element here and I'm returning that element. Okay, so I created a separate method within this class navigation bar page just for finding out this home link, and I'm returning that one. I'm returning that link. Okay, that element I'm returning. Okay, so now in the navigation bar page, what I will do, okay, instead of using this one, instead of finding my element here, okay, I will create an object for this navigation bar page. Okay, so navigation bar page, okay, navigation bar page. I'm creating an object for this navigation bar page, new navigation bar page. Okay, this is my class here. Okay, I have created an object. I have imported that class, and now in this one I will use, okay, instead of like this one, okay, instead of this one I will say navigation bar page dot, okay, it gives me the home link. Okay, home link, and since I have to pass this driver, I am passing this driver. Okay, so this one what it will do, this will return me, this will return me this element, okay, and then I am using is displayed. You got this point here? So instead of finding the element here, I moved that element, okay, how we find that element to a different class, and I have created a method for that one. So I will create an object for this class, and then I will call that method so that it will give me that particular element, home link element, okay, and then I can use this one. Got it, everyone? So anywhere,
Yes.
like, I want to use this element. For example, here I'm using, and also in car rental pages, I'm using the same thing. So I will go here and I'll use this one. Okay. But again, okay. So this is navigation. Again, I have to create an object for this navigation bar, just like this one. Okay. So navigation, Control C. Okay. I will create an object here for this one as well. Okay, so everywhere I will create an object for this navigation bar page. Okay, no, this navigation bar page, and I will use this navigation bar. So I'm using like in both of these two now, like navigation bar, like I'm using this this one, this object dot home link, and also in the car rental pages, like I'm using this one. Okay, so if this home that link is changed, I can directly come here and I can just update only in this place, right? You got it? I don't need to update like all these scripts. If this XPath is changed in future, okay, if developer changes the text of this element, okay, I can directly come just to this navigation bar page. I can only update it here only. I don't need to touch my scripts. You got this one? Or any questions? Everyone?
So for every locator, we need to do the same, like
Yes, yes.
we have to
And
create a
for
separate method for every locator.
yes, yeah. And for each and every page, you have to define a separate class here. Let me show you that one. So for now, like we have created one for this home link. Okay. Let me create like the other methods. Let's say for this about us link. Okay. So about us link, what I will do is I'm just copying like the same method, and I will change this one to about us link. Okay, now in the about us link, and then I will use, okay, driver dot find element. Okay, about us. Okay, so I'll put it here, driver dot find element about us. Okay, so about us. Now I will go to car rental pages. So instead of using, okay, I'll use, okay, navigation bar page dot about us link. Okay, dot click. Mm, this is not giving that about us. I have saved this one. Navigation bar page dot, okay, about us link. Okay, we have to pass the driver, right? Dot click. Okay, so for each and everything, like I have to create a separate method in this one. Okay, for navigation bar, like I have showed you like two examples here. Okay, you can replace, like you can create a separate objects for this one, and you can replace like all these things. Okay, now let us come to like this car rental pages. In the car rental pages, okay, we have these different things like home for home text, we have these different things, but this is on a separate page, it's not on the navigation bar. So let me create a new one for home page. Okay, I'm creating a separate class here, page object model, which is home. Okay, home page, okay. So finish this one. So on the home page, okay, what I have to do, I have to again, like I'm just copying one of these methods here and to the home page. Okay, so on the home page, what we are doing, we are finding out this element, right? Find the best car for you. So we have that one. So I'm going into this now car rental pages. Okay, and I am collecting. Sorry. Okay, so I am copying this one. So on the home page, and I'm returning this element contains text, find the best car for you. Okay, so I'm just saying homepage header, this one homepage header. Okay, now in the car rental pages, I'm coming here. Okay, I'll create an object for this home page, and I'll call this homepage header. So in this one again, I have to create an object for this home page. So homepage is equals to new homepage. Okay, let me import this one, import homepage, and now using this object, okay, driver.find element. Okay, sorry. Okay, so here I will use homepage dot homepage header of driver dot is displayed. Okay, if this is displayed, then home page is verified successfully. Okay, we have written the method to identify that element into this home page. Similarly, of course, we have only one element we are identifying on this home page. So on the home page class, you may have only one element at this moment. Okay, but generally we identify multiple elements on the same page. We write all those elements and in this class. Okay, now let us write about this about us. Okay, so now on the about us page, what we are doing, we are going into this about us page. Okay, and then we are checking this header about us. Okay, so for that one, again we have to create a separate class for that one. So let me copy this one, and I'll say about us page. Okay, so in the about us page, I'm creating something called about us page header, and I'm passing this WebDriver here. Sorry guys. Okay, so in this one, let me go into this car rental pages. Okay, so this is the one for the about us page, right? So I'm copying this one and I'm moving this one to about us page. Okay, so I'll say driver.find element. Okay, and I'm returning this about us link. Okay, so now I will create a new object for this one in the car rental pages, which is for about us page. So I will say about page object equals to new about us page. Okay, now let me import this one, import. Okay, and here in the place of this about us driver.find element, I will directly call that method which will return me the about us page dot about us page header driver dot is displayed. So for each and every page, for example, you see we have created three classes here, one for navigation bar page, one for home page, one for about us page. Okay, so we have created three different classes for three different pages. One is for, of course, navigation bar is not a page, but since this is common for all the pages, I have created a separate class here, page object model class here. And for home page, I have created a separate class. For about us page, I have created a separate class. Okay, and in these classes, I will identify all those elements and I will return all those elements. Okay, and now in the main script, in each of these scripts, wherever you use these elements, we have to create objects for those classes. Okay, see, we have created objects for those classes, and using those objects, okay, we are calling those methods which will return me the object. So navigation page bar dot home link, and then home page dot home page header is displayed. Okay, navigation bar page dot about us link dot click, and then about us page dot about us page header is displayed. So like this, we will call those methods. So if any of these element locators, the properties of that element changes, then we don't need to touch any of this script. We just directly come into that particular page, okay, in the page object model, and we'll update it there itself directly. Okay, so you guys did you guys get it, how we are using page object model?
Subbu,
Yeah.
yeah, technically, if for every element that we are finding, let's say we have a method that we write as well to return.
Yes, yeah. Technically, for every element that you are using, you'll write a separate method. Okay, you will write a separate method in a separate class, page class,
Class,
we
yeah,
can say.
yeah,
Separate
page
class
class.
which returns that element, because that element might be used in multiple scripts, right?
True. Okay.
So we are writing a separate method to return that element. The easiest part here is if that element changes in future, you don't need to go and update all your scripts. You just need to go to that particular class where you are finding that element, and you will just update it there.
So one question is there,
Yeah.
like how will get to know that when we have to create a package, when you have to create a class, and when you have to create a method?
It all depends on your how you want to define the structure of your project. Okay, generally, since this is we are finding the elements here, we have created a separate package here. We don't want to write it create these classes in the same package, because that will be confusing. We just want to separate it. See why packages are used. Packages are basically used to group your classes, based on the similarity. In this case, I have created a new package which is new pages. Okay, car rental package new pages, because this package contains all the classes that will return me the elements. Okay, so similarly here
Okay.
this contains like all the classes, okay, that contain scripts, basically the scripts. That's why I have created a separate package. So it all depends on how you want to make your project easier, basically, you can say.
Okay, so
Okay, so based on that, we will create these different packages. Classes, again, it depends on for each page, basically in the page object model, we create a separate class for each page. Okay, so that it will be easy for you to identify that particular element. For example, if I create just one class which contains all the methods to return the elements on different pages. Okay, it is
okay.
very difficult for you to go into that particular, to identify that particular method in the one class. So that is why we are dividing this one into different classes itself, which each of this class represents one page. So if an element on a one page returns, you know that okay, this is the element on the about us page, so this element is changed, so let's go to this class, about us page class, and modify that element.
And some, if some child windows will be opening on that particular
If the
pages, then
child,
for
if the child window is common, for all the pages, you can open it from any page, then then create a separate page for that one, separate page class
separate
for that
class.
one. Yeah, but if the
Okay.
child window is opening only on a particular page, then you can write the elements on the for that particular page itself. For example, if you see this one, okay, this is common for all these pages. Login. Okay, this login one, this one is common for example, if you are on the car listing page, then also you can click and generate this one, right? And if you are on a fax page, then also you can open this login pop-up. Okay, so this is
Yeah.
common, so I will write a separate page for this one, where I will include the objects of this email address, password, login button, and also sign up. Also I will include the same thing, full name, mobile number, everything I will include it there itself in the same one. but it is a separate class for the login functionality.
Okay.
Okay. So that is how, like, we write these pages and the classes. But you understand this one, right? Like, why we go for page object model and what is the use of this page object model.
Yes.
Okay, so now let me tell you, like, one more thing. Okay, so we have this navigation bar. So we have created a method here, and each time we are passing this web driver object to this method, to all these methods, right? And see, if you see here this navigation bar chain, okay, see, we are passing this driver. If navigation bar home page link of driver, we are passing this driver object that we are creating here. So instead of, like, passing this object like this, what we can do is, okay, we can create a constructor here. Okay, so what I will do is, instead of doing it like this, web driver, okay, I am creating a driver object, a variable, in instance variable I have created. Okay, and I will create a constructor here. That constructor is, and I will pass the driver object to this one, and I will say this dot driver equal to driver. You got this one? See, I have created an instance variable and I have created a constructor. What is a constructor? Constructor will have the same name as that of the class name, and it is used to initialize the instance variables. What is our instance variable here? Driver. So I'll say public navigation bar page web driver. Okay, web driver, and then I'm saying this dot driver is equal to driver. Okay, so we'll use this keyword to access the instance variables, right? So this dot driver means it will give me this object, this dot driver equals to, I'm assigning it to this one. Okay, now I don't need to pass this one each and every time, so I can just remove this one. I can just remove this one. Okay, I don't need to pass this one, but again I have to what I have to do, while creating this object, okay, I just need to pass this driver object only once. Okay, and I don't need to pass this each time in the methods. You got this one? Got it, guys? Are any questions here? See, each time, okay, I don't want to pass my driver object to these methods. So what I can do, I can just create a constructor here. I have created a constructor here, and I am passing the driver object to this constructor so that it will be assigned to this instance variable, and I can use that instance variable here. So, but what I have to do in the main script, while creating the driver object, like, I have to create a parameter. This is a parameterized constructor that we have created in this one. So I have to pass the driver object to the, while I'm creating an object. Okay, now I don't need to pass this driver object to the method each time, because I can directly use that instance variable that I have created here. Any questions?
Okay. So, like, how you are like getting this? You have not uh, inherited that this particular class with the other class, other package, and how like we are using here this driver. Like,
Okay,
I don't know like how it is coming.
what is a constructor? First tell me, like, what is a constructor? Why do we use
Constructor is a
constructor?
kind of a it is a the kind of a default method. It has been called very first by the time the main method is been executed.
No, no, no. Constructor is not a method, like, when the class is executed, it won't be executed. When the constructor is called, basically,
By the time class is
by the
before
time,
the main method, I guess.
no, 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 that is static blocks.
Okay.
Those are static blocks. So when is a constructor, like, when will a constructor be executed, basically?
When by the time the we are creating the object of the class.
Yes, yes, right. When we
Yeah.
create an object of the class, the constructor will be executed. And why do we use constructors?
Because we don't need it to call by it will be called by default.
No, no, no. Constructor won't be called by default. Constructor will be called only when we create an object.
Yeah.
Okay. Why do we use constructors, basically? Constructors are used to initialize the instance variables.
Okay.
Constructors are used to
Yeah.
initialize
Yeah. Yeah.
instance variables.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I have created an instance variable driver, and I have created a constructor which will initialize this instance variable driver. So by using this dot driver equal to driver. Okay,
Okay.
now in my actual class, in my actual script, I'm creating a constructor for this one navigation bar. Okay, and I am passing my driver to this constructor. Right, that is an argument constructor, right? So I have created a driver object here and passing the driver object to this one.
Okay.
Okay, now what
Yeah.
happens? So in the navigation bar, it will be this initialized, this particular WebDriver instance variable, it will be initialized with the driver object that I am passing. So now I can use the same driver object in all of these methods.
Yeah.
Got
I
this one?
got it, sir. Yeah.
Okay, so instead of passing it to each method, previously we have passed that one to each method, right? And we are using that driver. Instead of passing it to each method, what we will do is, okay, we will create an instance variable and we will use a constructor to initialize that instance variable. Okay, so since this is an argument constructor, when we are creating an object in the actual script, we will create an object like this by passing the driver object. Just practice this one, because every time you do the same thing in the page object model. Just once you practice it like in a couple of times, then you will but you understand the concept here, right? Instead of
Yeah.
passing the driver object to each and every method here, what I'm doing, I'm just creating an object, I'm creating an instance variable driver, okay, and I'm creating a constructor here, and I'm passing this WebDriver object to this constructor so that this instance variable will be initialized, and I am using the same instance variable in all of these methods. Okay,
So can you
similarly,
share this program, please? Because I think you need to get a reference every time for
sure,
if you
sure,
can.
sure. We already have it like in the document actually. I'll share the
Okay.
document.
Okay.
In the document we
Okay.
already have it. Okay, okay.
Okay. Sure.
Now the same way we have to do it for, let's say, like the home page. Okay, in the home page page object model, again we have to create a constructor here. Instead of passing it like each time to this one, okay, we'll say web driver, okay, web driver, and I'll say public home page. This is the constructor I'm creating, public home page. Okay, driver, I'll say this dot driver equals to driver. Okay, now I will remove this one from here, and while creating a class in this one, I'll say new home page of, okay, driver I will pass, and I will pass driver for this navigation bar also. And now for the home page link, I'll remove this driver, and also for the home page header, I will remove this driver. Good. Okay, now for the about us page also, we have to do the same thing. So I'll create a constructor here. So web driver, okay, and then I'll say public about us page. This is the constructor I'm creating. So I'll say web driver, and this dot driver equals to driver. Okay, this dot driver is equal to driver, and then I'll simply remove this one from here. I'll just create this method. Then I'll go to this car rental page, and while creating the object itself, I will pass this driver object, and then I will remove this one. Okay, so this is how we create page object model. Okay, we create a separate class. You can try like the other things here, but this is how we create a page object model. Okay, do you guys understand this one, or any questions on this page object model until this point? everyone?
It is clear, sir.
Okay, so just practice this one. Very simple actually. What you are doing is basically like, you are creating a separate class for finding out like all the elements. And while finding out the elements, you need a driver object. Either you can pass it to the methods directly, or you can create a separate constructor. Okay, and while creating the object itself, pass the driver object to the constructor. So one of the questions like that you might get in your interview is, okay, generally in the Java part, okay, so they will ask you like the question like, okay, have you what is a constructor, what is the use of constructor, and then the question can be, have you used constructors in Selenium? You can say yes, I have used constructors in page object model. Okay, while creating the page object model, we create different pages for different classes for each page. Okay, in those classes, first we'll create a constructor, and we'll instantiate the driver object using that constructor. Okay, so that is a question you may get. Got it, everyone? So you have, just remember that you are using constructors in this page object model. Okay. Okay, so this is about like page object model. Okay, but there is one more thing. Okay, let me show this one random class. Like this is completed. Let me close this one. Okay, so we have completed this initial basic introduction of this page object model. Okay, so don't worry about this one. I'll copy paste these new ones into this document, and I will share it to you. Okay, because I think I have used a different one here. Okay, so we have something called page factory. So what is a page factory? Basically, okay, this page object factory provides an annotation which is @find by, which makes the identification of the web elements much easier. Okay, to use this annotation, first we need to initialize the page object factory using page factory dot init elements driver comma this. Okay, just give me 1 second, guys. Okay, let me get some water. Just give me 1 second. Okay, so page object factory. So what is this page object factory? Am I audible to everyone? Just want to make sure.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so page object factory. Okay, what is page object factory? Okay, now if you see this one, okay, in this one, what we are doing in the pages. Okay, let me go to this navigation bar page. Okay, in this page, what we are doing is we are using like driver dot find element by dot export like this. We are using. Okay, but we have something called page object factory, which will make this element location identification easier. Okay, by using an annotation called @find by. Okay, so we can use this annotation and we can easily identify the elements instead of writing it like driver.find by each time. Okay, so for that one, what we have to do in order to use this annotation, first we have to initialize the page factory. So I'm copying this one. Okay, and how do we initialize? We can put it in the constructor, because whenever we create an object for that one, okay, it will initialize the page factory. Okay, import page factory. Okay, so we have initialized this one. Now we can use @find by annotation. So how do we use @find by annotation? Okay, so here, okay, so we can directly use @find by, and then okay, let me show you this one. Let me write the same thing using @find by. Okay, so we have to use @find by, and in brackets we just give id is equal to that id, or xpath is equal to xpath in this one. Okay, let me write this @find by. Okay, I'm using @find by. Let me import this @find by. Okay, import @find by. Okay, and then it is not okay. So I think I haven't written this one fully. Okay, so now what I will do, I will just use this xpath. I'll just use this xpath. I'll say xpath equals to this one. Okay, so now I'm using @find by. Okay, so instead of writing this driver.find element by .xpath each time, I can directly use @find by xpath is equal to. So this will identify the element, but I have to assign this to a particular element. So, right, so I will assign this one to using web element and give some name. Okay, so I will say web element home link. Okay, web element home link. I'm just giving some name to that web element. So instead of writing it driver.find element by .xpath, we can use @find by annotation and use xpath is equal to this xpath, and whatever the element that it returns, okay, I am assigning it to the variable home link. Okay, now what I have to do, I have to create a method which returns this one. So I will say public, okay, web element, okay, public web element home link, I'll simply say return, okay, home link. Okay, let me just comment this one. Okay, so I can write it this way also, the same thing. Okay, but for this one, just remember that in order to use like page factory, we need to initialize the page factory first using this page factory dot init elements. Okay, so once this is initialized, then I can use @find by annotation, and now I don't have to use driver.find element. I can directly use xpath equals to, or any locator technique, id equals to name equals to link text equals to tag name equals to partial link text is equal to xpath is equal to css character is equal to anything you can use it here. I'm using xpath. Okay, so now it returns the web element. So I'm storing this web element into home link. Now I'm just directly returning that home link by creating a method. So now I have this home link element, I need to return this one, so I'm creating a method for returning this one. Okay, so this is called page factory method. See, page factory method provides an annotation @find by, which makes the identification of the web elements much easier. To use this annotation, first we need to initialize the page factory using page factory dot init elements, and we have to pass driver and also the current class object, which is this. Okay, once we do this one, see, we have done it like in the constructor, so that every time we create an object for this class, this page of page factory also will be initialized. Okay, now once this is done, then what we can do, we can directly like use this one at the rate find by, and anything id is equal to x path is equal to anything you can use, and capture that web element into some element. So I have created a web element. So here I have written it like in 2 lines, but here like I have written it like only 1 line. You can create it like in two lines also the same way. Okay. Yeah, I'm capturing the returned element into this web element home link. And now I have created a method to return this home link element. Okay, and I can create an object for this class, and I can use this method to return this home link, and I can use that home link element. Okay, so this is what is at the rate this is how we use like an at the rate find by page factory. Okay, any questions on this one? Simple. Okay, we just like a page factory, page object factory will provide an annotation at the rate find by, which makes identification of the web elements much easier. Okay, but for this one to work with, like we have to initialize the page factory. How do we initialize that one? Using page factory dot init elements of driver comma current class object, which is nothing but this. Okay, generally we put this one in the constructor, so that whenever we create an object for that particular class, it will be initialized, and then we'll use at the rate find by. We can use xpath id or anything, and then use that particular locator technique, so that and we use like the web element name, some name we will give it to that, so that the element that is identified will come and sit in this one, and we use a separate method to return that element. Okay, any questions, anyone? And this one?
So we are creating an web element variable here, like web element variable here, first name by using a web element dot first name, and after that we are calling that method, and you are just returning that element to it, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
got it.
that's all. So instead of using like driver dot find element, we are using an annotation here at the rate find by. Okay,
Okay.
which will return you that web element instead of using like driver dot find element by dot xpath by dot id like that. We are using at the rate
Okay.
find by, and give like whether it is an id property that you want to use, name property that you want to use, or xpath that you want to use, css selector that you want to use, anything you can use it,
Mm-hmm.
equals to that one, and it will store it into a particular element. You have to give that web element also. So here I am giving it like a web element first name, so the element that is returned will be stored here in this one. So you have to return this element, so I have created a separate method here which will return me that element. Okay.
Simple. In the
Yeah.
script, it shows both actually 3 lines of the code, and of course, find by element, makes it easier to find, elements. But in which way it makes it easier if it is the
So
same amount?
generally like you don't see much difference like in using these things, because instead of using like at the rate find by, we can directly use the driver dot find element by dot xpath or by dot id, anything. Okay, because we are used to that one, we may think that like that is much easier. Driver dot find element is much easier than using this at the rate find by. Okay, but mostly in the projects, like in most of the projects, they use like page factory only, because each time you don't need to write it like driver dot find element by dot xpath by dot id, anything like that.
Okay.
Is that your question, Suman?
Yeah,
Or
yeah, yeah, that is my question actually. Which one in the
yeah,
real-time scenario uses,
real-time scenario, like we can use like anything basically, whether either you use page object model or page factory, but mostly people use this page object factory only. In most of the projects, like people use this at the rate find by annotation.
okay, thank you.
Okay, yeah. Any other questions?
Here the method name is also the variable name itself, right? So
Yeah,
this,
you can have it, right? See, mother name basically we have like two brackets here, which makes it like separate from this one. But you can have a different one also. You can have like okay, have my web element as first name, but I can have my mother name something like written first name, right?
okay,
You
okay,
can have a separate name also. Okay,
okay, okay,
but
okay. I thought
basically
this was a syntax.
no, it's not a syntax. Okay, basically
Okay,
when you are calling it in your script, you will call this method which will return this element. Okay.
okay. It can
So
be like
yeah,
anything.
yeah, it can be anything.
Okay, okay, got it, Subhanu.
Okay. Yeah, just page object model. We always use it in our project, Selenium projects. In every project, like whatever the project you take, in every project we use this page object model. Okay. So just practice this one. It is easier. Like it is very easy. Like basically creating separate class for identifying the elements. That's all. That's all we are doing in the page object model. It's not like that difficult. But we are using the concepts of like constructors in this one, that
Okay,
argument constructors. Okay, so the question can be like people may ask you like when they are like asking you questions on Java when it comes to constructors, but they will ask you like what is a constructor, why do we use a constructor, like that, and have you used constructors in Selenium? You can say that yes, in the page object model we have used constructors, where we used to initialize the driver object using the constructor, so that when we create an object for the for the page object model, we create an object by passing the driver object. Okay,
got it. Yeah,
that's what like, okay. So now coming to interview questions. So what is page object model? Page object model is about developing an object repository. It's a design pattern which has become popular for enhancing test maintenance and reducing code duplication. Why do we need page object model? This is mainly for test maintenance and eliminate code duplication. Okay, you can explain this one. For example, you have a you are identifying an element using like driver.find element by.id or by.xpath, and you are using the same thing in multiple scripts. Okay, if something changes like for that element, then you need to update like all those scripts. So instead of doing that one, we will create separate classes for identifying all the elements. We'll create a separate class for each page. Okay, and we'll write the locator techniques in that one, identification of the elements in that class, so that in case in future if the developer changes any of those elements, we can directly go into the page object model pages, and we can update it directly there instead of updating our scripts. That is the advantage with the page. We can update it like only at only one place. Okay, now how page object model is achieved in this in Selenium automation. Under this model, for each web page in web application, there will be a corresponding objects page. Okay, that's what we have created a separate class for each page, if you remember. Okay, so now we will put each object in a method. Okay, so we'll create a separate method for each object. That means for each element, we can say each object in the sense like each element on the objects page, and the method name will be given in a way that it is easy to understand what we are doing. Okay, for example, we are returning like home page link. Okay, we will say home link or about us link. We'll say about us link, so that by looking at that method name, it will be easy for us to recognize like which element it is. The object pages will find the web elements of the page. Okay, now if a change is required for any of the web elements, okay, we'll just change it in the objects page. What are the advantages of page object model? Basically easy to maintain, right? If something is changing, like you don't need to go and update each and every script. You can just come to this page object model page and you can update it there yourself. Even if the web element changes, we'll just change it in the objects page. Easy readability of the scripts, since the method names are given in such a way that they are represent what operation we are doing. If a new tester comes in, he can easily understand the scripts. Okay, what it means, for example, if you see here, okay, in the car in the navigation bar page, like I'm saying, okay, if navigation bar page, okay, that means on the navigation bar home link is displayed. See, it is easy to understand, right? Say in the navigation bar, okay, I'm checking if the home link is displayed. It is easy to understand. Okay. Similarly, register.java, if you see in this one also, not register.java, car rental pages. Okay. So in the car rental pages, if you see, I'm saying homepage header is displayed. Easy to read and easy to understand. Instead of having something like driver dot find element, that homepage header is displayed. What we are doing, we are saying on the homepage, if the homepage header, is it displayed or not? That's what we are checking. Okay, so readability is also will become very easy readability of the scripts, since the method names are given in such a way that they represent what operation we are doing. If a new tester comes in, he can easily understand this one. Reduce or eliminate duplicacy. Okay, since we are capturing all the elements in an object page, the element will be defined only once, so it eliminates duplicacy. Reusability of the code, we can create objects for the object pages, and we can reuse them. Whatever the objects that we are creating, we can reuse them in multiple scripts. Okay, so those are the advantages of this page object model. Now is page object model a framework? Page object model is basically a design pattern, actually. Okay, what is page factory? Page factory is an inbuilt page object model concept for Selenium WebDriver. So page factory is also a page object model. Basically, we use like in page factory also to create separate objects. Okay, and but it is much optimized. Page object factory provides an annotation at the rate find by, which makes the identification of the web elements much easier. How do you initialize a page factory? Okay, page factory dot init elements of driver object, and then we use current class object, which is this. Okay, what is the difference between page object model and page factory? Page object model is a class which represents the web page and holds the functionality and members. Page factory is a way to initialize the web elements you want to interact, okay, with within the page object when you create an instance of it. Okay, so page object model basically like we create like a separate method for each element, and we identify that element within that method, and we'll return that element. The page factory provides a separate annotation called at the rate find by, which makes the identification of the elements easier. Okay, we don't need to write driver dot find element by dot export by dot id like that. We can directly use at the rate find by and use the locator like xpath or like an id equals to, and give that locator name or id property or anything. So it will directly locate your identify your element instead of writing like driver dot find element by xpath by id, etc. Okay, that is the difference between page object model and page factory. Okay, so these are the interview questions like you can expect. And again, like as I mentioned like previously, where did you use like constructors in just okay, you can explain this one. Okay, any questions on the page object model? Any more questions? Just practice this one. Once you practice this one, then like you can get a clear understanding of this one. Okay, any questions on this one? Okay, fine. So in tomorrow's class, we will see about this extent reports. Okay, how do we generate reports, and then we'll go with Excel operations. Okay, just practice like all these examples. Like I'll share this. I think yesterday I forgot to share the video recording actually. So today I will share the recording. And yeah, today I will share that recording and also the documents. I'll update these documents also with the latest examples that we have created for the car rental project. Okay, and then I'll upload them. Okay,
Okay.
fine. Any other questions or anything? Okay, we are almost like getting completed actually, because the core Selenium is completed, Java is completed. Now we are like going into kind of like advanced topics. Okay, so you just need to like practice like everything. This one. Okay, just start like practice like all these things, then you should be fine. Okay, fine
Okay,
then.
sir.
We'll meet tomorrow then. Okay, thank you everyone.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye
sir.
bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.